I hate that to be that person, but if you could like and sub, that would be very much appreciated.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Alright, hello, welcome to a quick review of the Cooler Master MM531, which is a mouse that I mostly bought because I just wanted to sort of test out the shape for the MM730, which Cooler Master is releasing soon. It's supposed to be close to this, and then I plan on doing a comparison. And I actually played for quite a bit on this mouse, about 2 days, and so I think I'm ready to give my thoughts on it. The packaging includes basic stuff like a manual and extra mouse feet, and the mouse specs are also pretty standard. But if BMW 3360 for $20 is good, and you also get extra mouse feet in the box. And the clicks on this mouse are they're pretty good. Pre and post travel wise though, they have a bit of both, but it's not bad in either way, and they feel pretty snappy. Pretty solid click implementation, if you ask me. Left and right click do sound a bit different. Right click sounds more hollow, but I found that to be the case in most run mice. Scroll wheel, on the other hand, is not a very good thing about this mouse. It's extremely rattly, and it feels extremely loose. When you shake the mouse, you can hear it move. Not great. And the side buttons on this side, they kind of have like a rubber coating, which makes them feel a little weird. But not too much pre or post travel. I don't like how they like rock in, like some side buttons I have, which don't really press in, they just sort of rock in. But these are all pretty solid buttons if you ask me, and I don't think anyone's gonna have any major problems with any of these buttons. I don't really have the equipment necessary to do a proper sound test, unfortunately. And this section of the review is only relevant to Minecraft. So with click methods that work decently on this mouse, butterfly clicking is, the clicks are a bit slim, and I haven't done like CPS testing, so I don't know how much CPS I'm getting, but it feels like I'm able to click pretty quick. These clicks are just fine for jitter clicking, and for drag clicking, it's possible, but it's not really like a major suggestion. But you can lower debounce in software, so yeah. So for $20, this wouldn't be a bad Minecraft mouse. And with the sensor on this mouse, I didn't notice anything out of the usual. It's a BMW 3360, so tracking should be fine. LOD's fine. In theory, there shouldn't be any issues with the sensor. So yeah. And the weight of this mouse is 92 grams. And in hand, it kind of, I wouldn't say, um, Cooler Master describes it as like featherweight, or I forgot a term they use. Honestly, this Razer Basilisk X Hyperspeed feels a bit lighter, despite tech should weigh like 5 more grams in theory. But I could just be because of the. Nah, yeah, I think the Cooler Master mouse is. I'm just gonna trust their weight. Um, and I do wish they could have made it lower. But this is an older mouse, so I can kind of give it a pass. 92 grams isn't horrible. It's not gonna like strain out your hand. This mouse is very similar to MM530, but MM530 has a like 13 gram weight in it, so that weighs 105. But this weighs 92. And 92 grams, that's not too bad. So yeah. And with the shape of this mouse, I think it's kind of interesting. I believe it's based sort of off the Microsoft Pro IntelliMouse, which is a very well-liked shape for palm grip for the people who use it. But it's a lot smaller. And I can definitely see that because the back of the mouse feels like it really like anchors to your palm. So if you have smaller hands than me, my hands are just simply too big to palm this. Or my hands are really too big to palm any mouse. Like DC2 shape isn't too bad at this, but this feels like if you palm gripped and you had smaller hands, this would definitely be a mouse that I think you could really easily get behind. So, yeah, nothing weird comfort groove wise. Decoding's fine, so no complaints there. But for people who fingertip and claw, it should actually be an okay shape as well. And for the cable and feet, um, the cable is extremely stiff. Um, it's kind of sometimes okay. It's not the greatest cable. I really wish Cooler Master put a braided cable on this, but this is also an older mouse, so it can kind of excuse it. The feet on this mouse are they're not really too scratchy. They're not anything to write home about, but they're not anything to complain about either. So I'd say Cooler Master did pretty decent on those two things. The software on this mouse is kind of an unintuitive disaster. So if you open it up, you have to install via RAR, by the way. So make sure to have like a copy of WinZip or something. But when you first open it up, you will have it load up, and it loads up on a different monitor on my main monitor for some reason. But I don't know if that happened here. And then you have 5 profiles, and the software, honestly, I think it's pretty laggy. It could be a lot better. It's a bit confusing. It's pretty well, there's actually quite a bit of options. But yeah, I do think the software is a lot more unintuitive than it needs to be. Um, but so you have key assignment tactics and LED RGB wise, you have a fair bit of options. So um, RGB is kind of dim on this mouse, in my opinion. But at least, and it seems to do like the pure colors fine. Like, but trying to do white, it kind of bleeds red, which, to be fair, is pretty common. But I do wish they could do that better. So yeah. And the pricing of the mouse is really weird. Um, it usually seems to sell for roughly $20. Um, but Cooler Master's like ngite.com thing says that it's a Best Buy exclusive, and I really can't seem to find MSRP of this mouse anywhere. But it seems like you're able to find it usually refurbished for about $20, and it actually popped up on Woot for $10.44, which is actually where I decided to get it. I got standard shipping, but it shipped out in 2 days. But it wouldn't link my Prime account, so I had to pay for shipping. Which isn't very fun when you have to pay $6 for shipping, because it kind of killed the value of that. But I would say this mouse, I don't know what the MSRP is. I think it might be $40 or $50, and for that, honestly, it's not even that bad. But I think for $20, this is really good. Um, like I think it's up there with like the G30 D203, the Razer Viper. Well, not the Razer Viper Mini, but it's up with it's not bad for that price. At least feature sets wise. Um, so that does probably make it one of the best value mice on the market, if you would ask me. However, I don't know how long it'll stay at this price, and it's possible that like this will just like completely sell out at some point, and there won't be any of these left. So yeah, gotta take that with a grain of salt to some extent. And I think my overall conclusion with the mouse would be that I would honestly suggest it, as long as you can get it for like $20, like what I got it for. Just making sure there's like no like wrap on the feet or anything. Um, I think if you have to pay above 20, you're probably not getting the greatest mouse. Because at that price, you might as well just buy like a clone or some mice. But for $20, I think this is a very good mouse. There's some things I wish it would do better, like RGB. And honestly, I wish it could weigh a little less. Um, but yeah, I think this mouse does a pretty good job in most aspects. So I think I would suggest it for people on a budget.